and welcome to the I Love This Movement live stream / podcast. My name is Serg, and man, I'm really stepping out of my comfort zone doing this. Not that I'm like uncomfortable, speaking on a podcast, but just like getting out of this element of actually doing this myself. Trying to stay up on top of this. Realistically, this is more for myself than it is for anybody else. But if this helps you, then awesome. Okay. And I don't know how this is going to be. I don't know what this can lead to in the future. I do have like my plans and my ideas of what I want to do with this podcast / live stream. Okay, my voice is a little raspy right now, but generally I have a bit of a more clear voice. But right now this is what it is, and this was intended to be live on YouTube. At least that was going to broadcast on YouTube. But since I just made the account and haven't activated the live stream, so this is going to be pre-recorded, and then I'm going to post it up after I'm done with this on YouTube, on the I Love This Movement YouTube page. And then I also had the I Love This Movement IG, as well as I Love This Movement Facebook. And the whole reason for this is just, man, I feel like this is something we needed, something I needed, and something to, put my message across. Not really sure where it's going to go. I'm hoping one day to interview some people, and, get down and dirty with it. But before I get into all that, I need to tell you guys about who I am. Okay. So my name is Sergio Marquez, and I am just another dude, and I grew up in Carson, California. And, the Booyah tribes from Carson, the Blue City Strutters, but that's where I'm from Carson. And, I just really like dancing. I love dancing. I've taken courses over my time, and it's just something I love to do. I got into dancing when I was younger. Like, being Hispanic, you kind of grow up dancing, the cumbias and, norteñas, and, I'm not really like, I like bachata and stuff like that. I like my Spanish music, but like, we're kind of cut different a little bit than most Spanish music, like people think I'm like reggaeton. I like reggaeton, but I'm not like, that's reggaeton's not really my cut, being Mexican, we have our own cuts, that's what like los corridos, norteñas come in. And so like, that's just, even when I was growing up, I grew up to like Juan Gabriel and La Banda Machos and, los Tigres del Norte. And, I'm not always going to speak Spanish, but, that's just kind of like, that's my roots, that's where I'm from. That's, that's how I grew up. But given that I'm from Carson, people from Carson tend to have like just kind of a specific way of speaking. We when at least when I grew up, we used to say the it's the N word, but not like the derogatory one. The more like my ninja, right? I know like these days it's a little different because it's like we can't political correctness and all that stuff, and I totally understand that. But coming up, we're from Carson, we all have this kind of like it's a melting pot of culture. Okay, so like Carson is probably one of the most diverse cities in the United States, where it has equal Hispanics, Blacks, Asians, Pacific Islanders. You have your sprinkles of white people here and there, but it's truly diverse. Like it's almost equally diverse, and that's got to help me out in the long run, in the past. So so I grew up in Carson, and went to Carson High School, and there was a lot of like tension between Hispanics and blacks, especially around that time. LA has this kind of gang culture, and there's always like Hispanics against blacks or blacks against Hispanics. But like at Carson High School, there was that, but then it was also like, each ethnicity or each like group of like the Hispanics, blacks, the Asians, the Pacific Islanders, they would all kind of have their own little groups, and we would beef it with each other. I mean, but it's a trip because like later on you're just like the stupid, but that's just kind of how it was back then, right? Or I'm not really sure how it is now, but we grew up with that gang mentality, right? So given that, so I grew up in Carson. So I got into this dance. I got into what people call popping or waving, tutting, animation, you name it, bopping. I got into this dance. Actually, I started going to raves. Okay. I started going to raves. And before that, I liked it. I already liked doing this type of dance. It was, like, I grew up watching Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's probably one of the greatest entertainers, or he's the greatest entertainer that has ever lived. Okay. And, I always wanted to do the moonwalk. I always wanted to do those dances. I always wanted to do the robot like he does on Smooth Criminal, yeah, that was just amazing, And so I remember as a little kid, I used to get like soap and soap up the tile floor just so I could do the moonwalk, right? So like, I mean, it was already there. I remember even as a kid when I would go to Tijuana, because that's where my family's from. They're from TJ and Tijuanenses, right? And I would battle the little kids out there, and I would just do a bunch of Michael Jackson dances, like that cut. You make me feel you make me feel. You turn me in so good. Like that pretty baby with the high heels on. So that if you guys remember that song, they do dances. It's one of my favorite moves to do when I used to battle like these kids as a kid was they would get on the floor and they would go hoo 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 hoo. And so they were like humping the floor, right? I don't know why, but I would always do that, right? And that was just, yeah, I just emulated him. I just wanted to be like Michael Jackson, dancing. When I got older and was in high school, there was Usher. An Usher used to do his moves, right? But the one move that really like, oh man, I really want to do this move was it was on what's that song? Oh, you remind me. And at the very first verse, he's like, you see the thing about you that crossed my eye, right? That part right there. It's so like it's a trick because if you remember the video, or if not, go ahead and like look up the video. But like he's talking to the girl and they're at the corner and he does this, like he starts floating, gliding just around here, and I was just like, oh shit, that shit was dope. It was dope. Like to me, it was like the best thing ever. I'm like, boom. If I can do that shit, damn, panty dropper. I mean, that for real. That's just how I kind of thought, like there's a lot of people that got into this dance because they just wanted to get laid. And I'm one of them. Like, at least that's the way I started, right? I thought like, man, if I learn how to do that, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. And realistically, like, maybe yeah, here and there, but like, not really. You would catch attention of a few, but it wasn't like, at least not for me. Other people maybe they were like, psh, they just show up and go, they're like, oh my god, toma, they go, oh my god, toma, Here, you can have it. And so um yeah, so like that was something that I wished, that I wanted to do. So I tried, I tried my stint at breakdancing. I tried my stint at you know, just doing any type of dance really. When I was in high school. And like I had the rhythm. I was boxing, you know. I was taking boxing. I was training, and I mean the thing that sucks is just that, I dislocated my shoulder. And I dislocated that playing baseball, but I dislocated my shoulder like dancing. Not dancing, sorry, boxing and playing baseball. And it just kind of like it just it kept happening. So like, I was negligent as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like I really was like negligent. And I would go out there and play some football, dislocate my shoulder, tell my homeboy like, "Hey dog, hey, pop my shoulder back in." He would go, "All right, cool." And then I would try to play again. Then I'm like, "Nah, bro, that shit it just don't feel right." So I just stay out. I mean, it hurt. It hurt like a motherfucker. But like at the same time, like, I gotta do, you know, I'm a tough guy. At least I thought it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, uh, so I just kind of like would go through it. When I really started finding so this really started finding getting myself into this scene, into this lifestyle. I My buddy would always talk about raves. My buddy J Fish, stays up in Fresno. My boy, man, I'm proud of that guy because he kind of like did a lot of things to he was probably the first homie. We were straight out of high school. He got a girl pregnant, went out there and kind of committed, and now he has three beautiful girls. So, I'm with that. But he would always talk about raving. Okay, my boy J Fish would talk about raving, and he would throw it up, be like boom, boom. He started teaching me or telling me about music, kind of like these different like different types of music, like happy hardcore, got me into trance, got me into like a little bit drum bass, man, bruh, like all I ever wanted to do from then on is, I just want to go to rave. I just want to go rave. That's it. I just want to rave. Like fuck, dude. Like that was amazing. And then I watched that movie Groove, and I was just like, oh my God, that's so dope, And so I went to a rave, and I was might have been 18 when I went to that rave. And like, I had my first experience there, and it was just like, wow, dude. Wow. And that was actually my first experience of seeing people waving. They were just like, I didn't know what it was called. I thought it was liquiding. Like, bruh, they're liquiding. Like that shit's dope. Like, damn. Like, especially your mom, you fucked up. And you just como pendejo, like dumbass, right? Oh shit. And that kind of like it really set the tone, right? I started going back to more raves. And then obviously glow sticking, hand over hand, whatever, Then my boy J Fish, he taught me my first. I credit my boy because he's the one who taught me the first thing, the first anything that has to do with like this dance. And the crazy thing about it is that like, man, he don't even dance like that. You know what I'm saying? He was never a waver. He was never a liquider. He was never a popper. He was never he was never any of these things. If anything, he just did like glow sticking. If that's it, right? And this is the first thing he ever taught me. Right there. That was the first thing. That blew my mind. I was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like that blew my mind. And sorry, I have a two dogs and they're always with me, so they're just kind of like looking at me what I'm doing. It's okay, I'm all right. Anyways, and so he showed me that, and I was just like, "Damn, bro!" Like, one thing led to another, and like he started teaching me this hand over hand, you know, this move right here, right? That was like that was the move, right? That was the move, and that started leading into kind of just making it travel, and so you're just gonna drink the water while I'm on here. Swear. Excuse me, Snow. That's my dog's name. Her name is Snow. Anyways, uh after that, like, I started looking for things to uh I just started expanding from there. I would go to more raves, learn from some more people. I had his buddy named he was a med student over at UCLA. Name was Albert, and he taught me some stuff, right? And then from there, like, I started getting better. I was going to a school called El Camino College, that's in Torrance. And as I'm going to class, I'm taking a dance class, by the way. I was taking a jazz, hip hop, modern, like it was all like a collective dance thing. I just, they thought I was there for the girls, but I really wasn't. Like I was just like, man, I want to learn. I want to try to get as much knowledge as I can. And which is dope because I did learn some stuff. I learned, like, jazz really isolates a lot of the body movements, and they do a lot of like these chest rolls there. And so that like really helped me out a lot. And once, but when I got there that day, there was I was hearing music, and you know what I mean when you hear the music. It's the music. And you're like, man, only one group of people listen to this shit. Dancers, right? So I started walking. Where the fuck these fools at? Now on campus, walking, and I walk up, and sure enough, I see them. And I walk up to this dude, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And I start popping on him, and he starts popping back. And then, you know, and I was just like, "What's up, bro? My name is," by at that time, I go as Fiction, Fiction. Not like the other dude, Fiction, Fiksion, I think it is. Mine was like a fiction story, and that was my raver name. Before that, because we used to have a crew called the Modern Day Hippies, and that, I mean, after we stopped raving, that kind of died out, right? But I told him, "Hey, my name is Fiction, bro," and he was just like, "Oh man, what's up, dude? Like, my name is Mikey." And I was like, "What's up, Mikey? Like, hey, bro, like, whenever you want a session, dude, I really don't know too many people that pop, like, especially not around here. If you down," he's like, "Yeah, for sure, I'm down." And then so we exchanged numbers and we kept in touch, and we would meet up at a Wilson Park here in Torrance, and from there we would meet up like when we can. And then one day I was like, "Hey, bro, like, hey, Homeland, where's Homeland at?" And he was just like, "Oh yeah, bro, like, if you down, let's go." So like we went together. And when we got there, I don't know if I drove or he drove. I don't know if if I picked him up or like I don't really don't remember, but we went to Homeland, right? And Mikey, if you are listening to this, I don't remember, but I know we went to Homeland together. And me and Mikey got there, and to me, I think it was under construction at that time. There was like a renovation happening, and that's where I met Iceman. Iceman has been one of the guys that's been long standing there. He's pretty much holds down what is it, Homeland, and of course Tin Man was always there. Tin Man, yeah, that Tin Man, the producer, the dude that produces music, yeah, that Tin Man was there. and that was I don't know if he was producing music back then, but I know he was popping. He was dancing back then. But then I also met Flash, Motion Sickness Crew. Okay. And that's my actually first teacher. He started teaching me. And with him, there was a few other people that were taking the courses with him, or that course with him. It was myself. I think Mikey would take him once in a while. Nikki May, or she goes by Bloom now. I don't care. You're going by Bloom. I like the name. She's going through a little name change, but like I love Bloom. So you need to stick with that one. She Bloom, and then there was Bahati. There was a few other people. I just don't remember who they were though. Like those are my peeps that I started with that day. From there, I met Boogie Walker, who's a locker, right? And then I met Tetris. I met Animatronics. I met Aquamarine, Sonja. I used to call her Charisma back then. But Sonja, and then from there, I just, you just start expanding. You start meeting all these type of different people, Tutmaster, OG. I got to meet Bop and Andre, because he would always come down to Homeland whenever he had a chance. You had a Wave-O-Matic, rest in peace, man. That man has taught me a lot of stuff. He kind of all these kind of intricate ways of waving. And if you still haven't seen his style of waving, look him up on YouTube, Wave-O-Matic. Okay, he has that Wave-O-Lab. I met Tabo, man. If you guys haven't heard of Tabo, like, and you haven't seen his videos, man, you're doing yourself an injustice, because everybody that is a good animator in some sort has came from him. He's been the root of that, especially here in LA. Okay, so look him up on YouTube, Tabo. So I met Tabo. I met Pop and Coco. Like I met man, dude, just a lot of people, and but I, that love came to be with this dance when Flash moved up north, and so we just started kind of sessioning here in my house. There's actually a few of us that would come meet up here, because I mean, Homeland was only open on Mondays, and the rest of the time we're like, hey, we want a session, but like, well, how do we do it? So we, I'm like, hey, I got some mirrors. I don't know how my mom ended up coming up with these dance mirrors, but like we had them. So we're like, fuck it, like y'all can come down to the pad, like we can session there. So we should session at my pad, and it was dope, man. It was real dope, and so I really fell in love with it, right? And I was getting ready, like started meeting like Frantic and Funny Bones and MGF, and started kind of getting myself into the battles, and met Junior Boogaloo, and these guys. I mean, they might remember me or they might not. I don't really know, because that was a long time ago, and like right when I was getting myself more deeper into like, yeah, I'm starting to get into these battles now. I left. I joined the military. Big decision that I made. And I don't know why I did that. Like, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my service, but like it just came out of nowhere. Sometimes, especially in Hispanic culture, or maybe a lot of different types of culture, maybe just not in Hispanic culture, but you get a like a lot of advice from different people, influenced by a lot of different people. And I'm not saying that those influences made me make that decision, because the decision is mine alone to join the military. But the decision or the ideas that I had of like, man, this ain't gonna lead me anywhere. Like, I'm not gonna make any money off of this. Like, there was that thinking that led me to make that decision, and mind you, man, I was getting ready. I was going to try out for Culture Shock. I was going to try out for, I was going to try, see, getting looked at, but it was a quick stint because like I bounced and I just disappeared on everybody. And it's crazy because, the homie Boogie Walker, uh, he knew where I worked. I work in San Pedro, in a place at Home Depot. And he stopped by my work one day, kind of looking for me. I don't know if he was probably worried for me, but he remembered one of my homies that worked there. And he was like, "Hey, wait, what happened to Fiction? What happened to Serge, man?" And he was just like, he joined the military. He's like, all right. Like, man, he goes, I was worried. He goes, I thought he died. Like, because it was just like that. I just disappeared, And so, I did my service and like, I hurt myself out there. Even before that, like I already had hurt myself, but like I hurt myself more. And, I ruptured both, one Achilles tendon and the other one. And then like I still kept doing it. Like I remember I kept dancing, right? But like for me, it was just like it was in the past now. And that was that. Then I got into then when I got out of the military, or at least when I was in Iraq, I was just like, man, I need to make a change. I got to do something. So like I decided to get myself into physical therapy. I wanted to be a physical therapist, right? And I started I was a medic in the Army, first of all. But I wanted to do physical therapy. So when I finished school, or when I finished my service, I went to Los Angeles Harbor College and ended up kinesiology class and stuff like that. And I bumped into some people, like Iggy. He was taking some classes there. Then from there I transferred over to Dominguez, Cal State University, Dominguez Hills. And I got my bachelor's degree in pre-physical therapy. But during all this time, man, I was dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's just kind of these things that just started happening. Like when I was in the military, like, I'm normal. Like everybody acts that way. But when I got out, like I wasn't the same, man. Like I was different. Like I was scared. I didn't want to go to any jams. Like I would go to Homeland, but it was all still scary for me. Like, just like, I don't know. Like I couldn't handle it. I couldn't deal with it. And I really believe like, I did my dancing, but like I believe it was behind me. Like that was it. Like I'm done. So I started I was working at the Veteran Center at Dominguez Hills. I met a homie, my homie Nathan Navas, the podcast doc. And he he got me into working at this clinic that I started working at in Manhattan Beach. Manhattan Beach. And I started working there for a few years, and like, I really enjoyed it. And I started kind of doing my dancing again, but it was still like, it is what it is, right? I remember Mikey. No, I kept saying his name, Mikey. This is Sprite from Funny Bones crew. Mikey hit me up. He was like, "Hey, Fake man, come on, dude, come back. Like, let's get back into this. Like, I think he had his he was just getting back into it as well, or he had just started getting back into it. And I was just like, nah, man. Like, man, I'm just kind of busy with school. He was like, come on, bro, let's do it. And I'm like, man, I'll let you know, man. I just, like I said, I wasn't ready. Like I was scared, right? But then when I started working at this clinic, I bumped in, you know, what I did is we had people's exercises. Like we worked them out pretty much. We would get the plan from the physical therapist and the physical, and you'd be like a whole exercise plan. And from the exercise plan, we would execute it and teach the patient the exercises. And they were like, cool, you know, like we would just do whatever, whoop, 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 right? And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of like I'm reliving it. I'm just kind of really remembering it now. And I remember I walked up and I had this chart in my hand, and I walked I walked up to this dude. You know, I was like, "What's up, homie? Like, come on in." And I don't even know if I worked with him. I probably just sat him down. He was wearing a Chargers shirt. I'm a big Chargers fan, you know, and yes, I'm from LA, and yes, I've been a Chargers fan all my life. Okay. And yeah, he was wearing a Chargers sweater, and I was just like, man, I like that sweater, bro. That's just dope. So maybe like a week later, uh, that physical therapist, that patient with the Charger sweater, uh, I had his chart, and this physical therapist walked up to him. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you have his chart." And I was just like, "Word? Like, what's up?" She was like, "Yeah, he dances like you." I'm like, really? It's like, yeah. So I walked up to him. I'm like, "John?" He's like, "Yeah." And I boom, 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 boom. You know, I started waving on him and all that. And he's like, "Oh!" And I was just like, "What's up, dude? Man, I heard you pop and all that." And so we just started kind of like uh like chopping it up, you know, like we became cool. And it was weird. Like it was weird. It was a weird kind of thing because like the whole time I'm thinking like, what the fuck, dude? Like somebody sending me a message. Like the universe sending me a message. Something sending me a message. Like I need to come back. And so I noted that. Like I took it right here and I took it right here. Up here and then here. Because these two, like for some reason at that time, they aligned. Like, man, all right, cool. And so once John finished being a patient, then I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, bro, now that you're not a patient, we done a session. Like, you want to come in? Kind of like we can work or what?" He's like, "Fuck yeah, bro." I'm like, "Fuck it, let's do it." So he used to come to the clinic like after hours, and we used to like train there, pop. You know, just kind of I used to work with him, and like he had a lot of work to improve on because I mean I guess his the injury that I had really backed him up. I can't really disclose, but you know his injury backed him up. And then you know I had told him was like, "Hey bro, like I can only take you so far. Like I can give you what I know, but then like after this, like if you want to find and get improved, like I'm not the guy for that. Like I can give you what you need for this moment, like for up to this probably this level right here. But if you want to get up to that level, like you're gonna have to find different people for that because I'm not the guy, you know. I'm not gonna claim to be something I'm not because I'm not." And he was like, "All right, cool." So like we worked, man, and we worked for like a whole year, like fucking every maybe like twice a week, you know. Um, and then it just kind of like, man, I started falling for it again, you know, like at least to the point where like, man, I like doing it. And then he started taking other courses, right? You know, he took Todd's mechanical playground. If you haven't checked out Todd's stuff, like you definitely should. Mechanical playground is I haven't taken that one. I've done in I've done the where wave meets groove. That one was dope. You know, really kind of even if it's just one little tip and trick, that can be what takes you like to that next step, right? Anyways, so you know he took that one. Then he took AJ Megaman's uh, course, and he leveled up there, right? And so he's been on that groove where he's just kind of been like doing this and leveling up. And then we meet up and, you know, we session when we can session, you know, especially with COVID got, it became tough because like, you know, it's just a tough time, right? Like people don't really want to meet. And so, but that's the beauty of it, is that because there's Zoom now, right? And so like he started leveling up, man. And then I got to bring it back. Actually, I took him to Homeland. It's been years and I've got to Homeland. And this is about when Homeland was going to close. And I told him, hey, let's go, bro. He's like, yeah, let's go. So we went together. Wow. Like it was like Homeland the way I remember it. You know, I was cracking, I was jamming. And I got some videos of that too. I actually got a really good, really dope one of Pandora popping. I'm just right there, right in front. But if you guys look up like YouTube on YouTube, Homeland's like final closing day, like you'll see me there. You know, but I didn't dance. I just, I just didn't feel like it. I just kind of like I was enjoying the moment, even though they wanted me to. And I was like, nah, I'm straight, man. I just like I'm enjoying this. Yeah, man. Homeland was a beautiful place, and I hope one day it comes back to that glory. If not, there's something else that needs to pop up. Man, that shit helped a lot of people out of like some tough times, you know. Anyways, let me get back to my story. And so, so I connected all the dots, man. Like I credit John for bringing me back into this lifestyle, bringing back into the dance, bringing back into the soul, bringing back to this beauty, man. Because realistically, man, I have been missing this so much, man. Like I thought I left it behind, and I thought it was over it, and then now here it is. It comes back to me again, but it's speaking to me in such a different level. Like I want to serve. Like it's not. I don't care about teaching classes because I'm not. I don't think I'm like that person, But and I'm not going to do that. But like, man, even if it's this, just talking about this type of stuff, like talking about the struggle, man. Like, we all go through these types of struggles where you kind of fall deep in, and I haven't really gone there. I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview, and it's already been fucking long since like I've been talking for a minute, right? But like it's just so deep, This is my rehab. This is my zen place. And when I don't dance, like I start falling out of place. This past winter, this past Christmas, like I fell out of place. I relapsed. I went back into this way that, this fucking toxic person that I fucking hate being. And it's difficult to admit that. Like it's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to be. But this dance really has like helped me out a lot. Like I did something called the 75-day hard challenge. I started it on February 15th. Today is what is it? May. I don't know. It's May. It's May 3rd. May 3rd. May 3rd. It's May 3rd, So my 75 days were over in April 30th. And for every day I've been dancing for 45 minutes minimum. Even the days I didn't feel like dancing, I would dance. I would at least drill. It didn't matter at what time I did it at. If it was just like right now, or if it was at 3:00 in the morning, like that still counted, because the whole challenge is you got to do this shit before you go to sleep. On top of that, I'm drinking a gallon of water, reading books, walking, going on my daily walks, going, keeping a diet, trying to just live healthier and be happier, man. Like, but that's what that wouldn't be possible without this dance. This dance really has helped me so much come out of my shell. Not only have I improved over 75 days, but like, man, it just helped me so much, man. And that's why, like, I felt like it was important for this. So recently, you see this hat that I have on. So all that hard work and everything that that's happening, that happened to me, is going to come into conclusion. All right. I was working at a physical therapy clinic because I was trying to go to doctor of physical therapy school, which fuck yeah. As of this year, 2021, in August, I start doctor of physical therapy school at USC. Does that mean when I'm done with me, a doc? I don't know, maybe I'll change my name to Pop a Doc. Papa Doc? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, right? People still want to call me Fiction. Yeah, you can call me Fiction. You can call me Serge, Sergio, pendejo. I don't give a fuck what you guys call me, really. Just kind of be respectful. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Even if you call me pendejo and be like, oh, ¿cómo estás mi pendejito? I'm like, all right, cool. At least I'm your hito and not your fucking whatever it is, But yeah, man, I credit John for that, and I have so much that I want to help people out with. Like I want to connect the physical therapy side with the popping side or the dancing side, whatever you want to call this, right? I just want to connect them, man. I just want to help people. Like maybe even if it is making this type of connection together, because there's a lot of psychological stuff up here, man. Like you don't know what people going through. Like we always talk about like the feel goods, like, oh yeah, man, you can do it. Yay, we're fucking cheerleaders. But like, god damn it, dude. Like, what about that struggle though? Like that's what people really, really I want to learn about the struggle. I want to know what's really going on, what's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me that. Tell me that. Like, why? Because I want to know if I'm going through this shit, like, man, like somebody went through it before me. And there's a lot of things I still got to talk about, like even about myself. I'm just, like I said, I'm just giving an overview. But this dance has helped us so much. I really believe that, man. I don't know what it is when you start waving, you feel like at Zen, you feel like this peace. When you hit hard, you're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. When you like, man, just so much that gets put into this, right? So much energy. That is really a beautiful thing. And that's where I'm going to end this. I'm going to be a physical therapist. I'm going to help y'all. I'm going to continue doing these live streams for y'all. Hopefully the next one is actually live and it's not a pre-recorded, but like, yeah, I really want to do this. And so the next one, I'm going to talk about something a little different. Talk about what the whole point of this is about. And from here, I give you guys my peace. Stay fresh, stay funky, be kind, be humble. Keep it gangster, y'all. Keep it popping. Boom.